All right, so then what's the second biggest factor of credit? And this one hurts people a lot. The good news is that they have a lot more control of it. The second one is amount owed, right? How much do you owe the banks in comparison to what your available lines of credit are, aka your utilization. So the funny thing is that the scoring algorithms don't care about how much money you owe. They care about how much money you owe in comparison to how much your credit card limits are. Let me explain real quick. If you have a 300 limit on your Capital One card, but you owe $250 on it, in the scoring algorithm's eyes, you're using 83% of your limit. This will drop your score drastically. Now, let's say you have a $10,000 limit on your Capital One card, but you owe $250 on it. In the scoring algorithm's eyes, you are only using 2% of your limit. This will technically slightly increase your credit score. Keyword, slightly. The reason it slightly increases your credit score is because your score is an indication of how you handle debt. And 0% utilization across all cards shows them nothing. It doesn't give them any data. While 1 to 6% utilization in total, not per credit card, across all the accounts on your reports, it gives them enough data without hurting your utilization too much. I want to be clear. You only need 1 to 6% utilization across the board. So just having it on one card, it's fine, right? But I want to be very clear. Focus on staying at 0% utilization during the early stages of your credit journey. Why? Because I feel like the slight boost that you can get on your credit score is not worth the risk of you falling into credit card debt. So, back to what we were saying. Because the scoring algorithms don't care how much you owe, they care about how much you owe in comparison to your lines of credit. As a matter of fact, let me go back to that one. You see right here that the person owes $3,350, but their total lines of credit are $53,400. And because of that, the individual is at a 6% utilization rate. $3,000 is a lot of money, but the banks don't see it that way. The banks see it in comparison. They basically look at it as your total debt over your total available lines of credit. So this means that one of your goals in your credit journey should be to get as many high lines of credit as possible. So if you have a big month of spending, your score doesn't take a huge hit. Here's a little secret strategy that you can use to avoid the credit card companies from reporting high balances to the credit bureaus. It's basically finding your statement date. On your banking app, go and look for the most recent statement. On the top, you should see your statement cycle. It'll look something like this. It'll look like August 15th to September 24th. All this means is that your cycle begins on the 15th of every month and ends on the 14th of the following month. So you want to pay very close attention to when your cycle ends. Because whatever your balance is when your cycle ends is what gets reported to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So you want your balance to be as close to zero as possible when your statement cycle closes. This way, the amounts owed stay as low as possible on your credit report. Now, let me show you how important utilization is. So if you're about to see right now, this is a client that I'm currently working with. Notice how the client has a credit limit of $500. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, credit limit of $500, but owes $292 on that balance because when the statement closed, she still owed $292. Now, look at what happens to the score, right? Once the client just pays those $292, a total of an 80-point increase. Just think about that. Some people pay credit repair companies thousands of dollars when in reality, all they need to do is pay off their credit cards. Now, this is not an absolute. This doesn't happen for every case. I've seen people that they owe tens of thousands of dollars, and even if they would pay everything down, they have so many negatives on their credit report that basically just paying the debt off isn't going to give them too many points. So now back to the presentation at hand. Just wanted to show you how important utilization is. And now that you've seen it, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask inside the community. Although I do love answering everybody's questions individually, sometimes the questions become repetitive and it just makes more sense to ask them in front of the community and have me answer that question. That way everybody can get the answer. Now, please just remember, New Leaf Academy is a no judgment zone. So feel free to ask any questions you may have. Take care, guys. Peace.